Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Miller, the pastor at the Belton First United Methodist Church in Belton, Texas. We're doing a Tuesday and Thursday devotionals at noon. Thank you for joining us. And maybe you're not able to watch this live and you're watching it later, but I just want to say thank you for tuning in on these devotionals. I hope that they help you still feel connected to the church, that you're feeling connected with each other as we do these devotionals. Been working through what I call road trip. What I call a series of devotionals about a road trip using that acronym DRIVE and talking about those aspects that help us to get to our destination, that really help us get to the vision, God's preferred future for us. And it's devotion, relationships, investing in God's kingdom, investing in those vital relationships. And this week we're talking about vision. When I was in college, one of my dorm mates, he was actually blind. He hadn't been born blind, but something happened when he was a child, and he was blind. We went out to dinner one night to Spaghetti Warehouse, and I think I'm remembering the story correctly. We ordered, and the food server is bringing the food and put the plates down, and he said to the server, "This is not what I ordered." And he was right. Now, he had a way that he could see things even though he didn't have any eyesight. And his vision was well beyond his eyesight. His vision was greater than his eyesight. And he had a vision to be in ministry, in some form of ministry of some kind. And the last I've been able to figure out, he is doing that through working at a Christian school and helping to educate. It's just his vision was great. You know, that's what we're talking about, vision. And vision has to do with God's picture or God's preferred future for God's people. And there's ways, when we talk about vision, I think that we kind of have three types of ways that we look at things. There's a microscopic way, there's a telescopic way, and then a periscopic way, as in a periscope. You know, the microscopic vision, that's that really you're just focused on one thing and it looms larger and larger and you're just looking at the details. And that's kind of when we get bogged down with the obstacles and the challenges and the difficulties and the problems of life, and we just get hyper-focused on those. That's a microscopic vision. And then the telescopic vision, you know, you're able to look way off in a distance and you're able to see that whatever object it is that you're trying to look at, and it looms, even though it's off in a distance, as it gets closer, it appears it gets closer because it gets larger, and you're able to really look at it and see some of the details. That a telescopic. And the telescopic vision, and I'm going to say, is what is God's vision for us. And God had a vision for God's people. And when he called Abraham, he said, "I'm going to make of you a great nation." But then they found themselves, years later, in slavery in Egypt. And God had said in Exodus 3:17, says to them, "I've decided to take you away from the harassment in Egypt to the land full of milk and honey." And that's just a nice analogy and allegory of a land that is abundant, a land that is fertile, a land that is fruitful, a land that will provide for them everything they need. It is abundant. And then Jesus gave us God's preferred future for us when in the Gospel of John, in the 10th chapter, in verse 11, that Jesus says, I have come so that you can have life. Indeed, so that you can have a life to the fullest, that you could live life to the fullest, an abundant life, very much similar to land flowing with milk and honey. So it's God's preferred future for us. That's the telescopic view. And then I'm going to say the periscopic view, or periscope. And I had the opportunity to ride a couple of submarines and even look through the periscope. Great experience. But a periscope gives you that 360 vision. You're able to look everything around. And the purpose of a periscope is to be able to look above or around the obstacle that would block your line of sight. It helps you see things you wouldn't otherwise be able to see. And see, I think a periscope is related in a great analogy for faith. It helps us see beyond the obstacles, above the obstacles, around the obstacles. And it helps us see faith. It is like faith. It helps us to see what we couldn't otherwise see. Now, I don't know, are you kind of more the microscopic? Or can you see the telescopic view, God's preferred future? And are you able to do it with faith, with like the periscope? Because the periscope gives you that 360 vision and helps you see beyond. Now, Hebrews chapter 11, in the very first verse, key verse for vision. Key verse for vision, Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the reality of what we hope for, the proof of what we do not see. Faith is like that periscope, and it helps us see what we otherwise wouldn't be able to see. It is what we hope for, and it's the proof of God's vision for us as people. God's vision for us is always about a promise. It's always about an abundant life. It is about living in a place like full of milk and honey where God provides for us. It is life to the fullest. It is life that is fruitful. It is life that is abundant. I hope during this time that it's been so easy to just get caught up in that microscopic view of what we're going through. But I pray that through the power of the Holy Spirit that you'll be able to have the faith, to have that periscope view, that you'll be able to see God's preferred future for you and for us as people. Faith is the reality of what we hope for. God bless.